Recording?
But I reminded, this is not a race. This is a training run. It's a little intimidating. I know, I can remember way back, one of the great things about starting out was running. I was not a great runner, like my wife never was, actually. And I can remember being very nervous about the Saturday morning group, a bunch of guys that still exists. It's the oldest training group in town. They're sometimes forgotten. They don't have all the hoopla of some of the programs that I'm involved with, some of the other track club programs. But they're still out there, and I can remember going out with those guys and being so nervous the first week. And I ended up running with them for almost 10 years every Saturday, and learned a lot. And that's what hopefully you're going to learn this summer. That's what these Saturday runs are about, is learning. And simulation, practice. You make mistakes out here, you record it in your running logs. You say, okay, I tried this today, it didn't go so well, I got up too late, my stomach was affected, I didn't drink enough, I went out too quickly, which is the #1 cause of bad long runs. I found a friend today, finally found a pace. I think I'm going to try and run with that person from this point forward. I found a person today who seemed really nice, I enjoyed talking with them, but they brought me into hell and back again. You can have both things going on. In other words, you go out with someone too quickly that runs quicker than you, and you get yourself in trouble. Of course, I'm Mark, and I'm slowly working through your programs. I appreciate the patience and understanding. You should have gotten Leah's email or my email. It actually is written by me and emailed over to Leah. I know that some people have a hard time under grasping this with me, but I can actually do it. We're going to copy it and send it or whatever, the attachment. All joking aside, you know, it's my daily life is very filled, and to sit down and return emails and get into an email game at night would ruin my life, literally. I don't sit at a computer during the day, and so that's why I work this way. So I appreciate you guys' patient understanding with it. I think when you start to get your programs, you'll see that some of this old-fashioned stuff actually still does work. Some folks are a little disturbed this morning with a change in the pattern of parking here today, but I got a call from the man who owns this facility, not manages, he owns all of this. They're so generous to let us use this. We're going to use it 4 or 5 times throughout the summer, and then we're going to be using it for the Three Bridges Marathon later this fall, to mop up the marathon that we're going to do with you guys all. Not all. If some of you have bad marathon experiences this fall, too hot, you're not feeling well, whatever, family plan changes, we're going to have this backup marathon. This is going to be the facility. So he'd asked us not to park on the property, on the grass on the property. So it's very adamant about it and very nice about it. So, and I remind you, any of you wine drinkers, when you're out at dinner or in the grocery store, make Whitehall Vineyards your choices, please. I want to thank, I know Jim Horscotti and Dan Henneke. Who else was involved with the run this morning? All right, we're going to have you go over it in a second here. Today's your first practice run, and that's what these are. They're little PSATs, I call them, throughout the summer. You want to start your simulation of how you get yourself together for a long run. And the biggest thing of all is pace. The first half mile to mile sets the tone for the entire day. You go out too quickly, you're going to labor latter part of the run. A lot of times when people tell me in these long runs that they really struggle, I know exactly what happened. They went out too quick. No, I didn't. I felt fine. I was able to talk comfortably. If you're going out, if you're running at your marathon pace, I have marathon pace for the early part of the run, you're going to get nailed. Not by me. Your body's going to talk back to you. So you got to go out slower. There was those pace charts. I trust you guys have read them. There's a lot of work went into those. It's to try and guide you out. And you notice the first half mile is ridiculously slow. Yep. You're trying to average 10-minute pace out here today. You have no business going out at 5 minutes for the first half mile. You should be going out 5:30, 6 minutes. Come on, Mark, that's not 10-minute pace. Do the math, Mark. I am doing the math. I'm telling you to go out slower. It'll really pay off. A good poor man's guide is 1 breath every 5 steps. I was out on a run with Cynthia the other day and one of her training partner friends, and what a mistake. I had 3 breaths for every 5 steps, and I just had to back off. I couldn't keep up with them. It just was way out of my comfort zone. Conversational pace, and I mean truly, we're not having to labor, to pull the words up out of your throat. That is a good pace for this type of run, this long run. You guys, most of you have not gotten your programs yet. Just to let you know, you should run your last 6 to 10 minutes today at your marathon pace. Okay, now if you're running a half marathon, you should still run it at the marathon pace. Okay, So a marathon pace is about 15, 20, 25 seconds slower than your half marathon pace, somewhere in there. Use that as a guide. So you can pick it up towards the end just for about 6 to 10 minutes. Today you want to start practicing what you want to put into your body. Is it water? Is it Gatorade? We've got both, I trust. Yes, very good. We aim to please. Goos, gels, you know, your little, the chewy, I forget, the blocks. It's interesting enough, I never use this stuff because my longest run is 6 miles anymore. Now, Cynthia's come back to the sport, and she's been a wealth of knowledge for me to even chat and compare notes with her. Not compare notes, but listen to her notes. She had to experiment before she settled into this routine of what she really likes. How often you take them, how much you take. Of course, anything you're putting solid in your body, so to speak, I call it astronaut food, you want to make sure you're flushing it with some water. You probably don't want to flush it with Gatorade. That's a little too much. So if you're drinking a goo, you don't want to put another. That's like a double dose. You're going to end up with a gut ache. How often? About 45 minutes. Some people who run faster run at about 35 minutes. Some people run a little slower. They do it to 50 minutes to 55. How often should you be drinking water? Well, if you have a water belt, that's the best bet. Of course, we have water stops out here, but don't rely on them necessarily. You have a water belt. You want to be doing it every 2 miles. You're taking about 3 to 5 ounces, 3 to 4 ounces, and you should be sipping it. You don't want to wait till you're thirsty. Wait till you're thirsty, you're over the edge. So dehydration definitely, goes ahead of a thirst. By the time you're thirsty, it's not irreversible, but you're starting to get yourself in trouble. So drink early. Today's really bad, 100% humidity today. So let's really keep an eye on it. Let's see. Work on your stride length. Shorten the stride length. Remember, start using your long runs as practice. Look at your watch every so often. You don't have a watch, you need to get one. You really